He was a 6-foot stallion, say a story book up. He was the kind that made you wonder how he put down the love. He had a hickey in his pocket, a fat rock in his ear. He made my heart stop palpitating every time he came near. He got a spanking new range, sport a tight wardrobe. His pants was sagging, he was padded, and his hair was cornrowed. He had his wrist bling blinging, and his long legs was bowed. He tried to push up on me, but I knew he had me at go. I do, I wonder if you feel the same way I do. I can see it in your eyes, I entice you. So come on, shorty, if you think you can roll with it, nice style, play a ball and out of control. 'Cause I do, I wonder if you feel the same way I do. I can see it in your eyes, I entice you. So come on, shorty, if you think you can roll with it, nice style, play a ball and out of control. Me and my crew started grooving, made our way to the flow. It's time to activate my plan and give this hottie a show. I shook my hips, took a dip, rolled my tongue across my lips, and when he took his place to dance with me, I felt fingertips on the small of my back, so I had to react like I was playing hard to get and told that boy to step back. But when I looked deep in his eyes, all I could see was his soul. I'm about to make this young my man that I can tell you for sure. I do, I wonder if you feel the same way I do. I can see it in your eyes, I entice you. So come on, shorty, if you think you can roll with it, nice style, play a ball and out of control. 'Cause I do, I wonder if you feel the same way I do. I can see it in your eyes, I entice you. So come on, shorty, if you think you can roll with it, nice style, play a ball and out of control. Watch me drop, shake it for the fellas who know. Watch me pop my hips as I dip and roll, and watch me stop traffic as I walk through the room, knowing all the poppies want me, but all I want is you. Watch me drop, shake it for the fellas who know. Watch me pop my hips as I dip and roll, and watch me stop traffic as I walk through the room, knowing all the poppies want me, but all I want is you. So come on, shorty, if you think you can roll with it, nice style, play a ball and out of control. 'Cause I do.
Fats back at Saints. Ferris back at Taco Bell.
Hey, that's where I was working. That's where I was working.
I don't know what I was doing. I might be in performance. Anyway,
welcome.
Welcome to the show, Toya.
Thank you.
DT,
Thank
what were you
you.
doing?
I'm happy to be here.
Probably yelling at her because she won't get off her phone to make this record.
One
Get
of
off your phone, Toya.
Like, in light of the weekend that we had in St. Louis, which was more murders and all type of crazy ass shit, Love thought it would be a great idea to bring someone who actually moved away from St. Louis. You know, we always have the common topic around here of, is it better to stay here and elevate yourself, or is it easy? And I know everybody's gonna have a different choice or a different answer, because everything isn't for everyone. But we have someone who actually did. Out of a football player. And she's live with us tonight at What Up Though Radio. I'm going to turn the mic over to her.
That's what's up. Wow, I'm so happy to be here. Tony's I used to call Tony Papa Bear. I called him Papa Bear. Tony was like my dad, man. He just taught me everything, held me down. But, when I bumped into Tony and he was like, it was a last minute trip. He was like, hey, come through. And I was like, yeah, I'd love to come through. But, for me, I still love St. Louis. I have a residence here, I rep St. Louis everywhere I go. Favorite team is going to always be the Cardinals. I don't care who playing. My husband teases me all the time. Name 10 Cardinal players. I don't know.
You ain't got to know.
I don't care.
You know the birds.
I don't care. I'm a rep by team, right?
Bird.
Period. But you know, life is what pulled me away from St. Louis. You know, I met my husband and started a family. He was playing in the league, so we were moving around, and then he got into the treacherous world of coaching.
Who was your husband?
My husband is T. Martin.
Okay.
Yeah, he played at Tennessee, played for the Steelers and the Raiders, and Philly. No, the Eagles. Philly, baseball. And then, you know, he retired, jumped into coaching. And so, you know, once I left, it was just like, you know, we got married. I have my son. And with coaching, you are in cities where you have no help.
Right.
And so, you know, I tried to continue doing the music stuff on my own. But I had a choice to make, you know, and I wanted, you know, my mom raised me. I didn't have nannies. So I had to kind of go that direction. And so I kind of became a sports mom, coach's wife. That has its own challenges. But we lived out in, you know, we got a chance to move around a lot. It was a great time. I mean, I've lived in Kentucky. I've lived in Tennessee. I've lived in New Mexico. We were out in LA for about 8 years. Reconnected with, you know, some people out there. Sean Holiday, Tubby, big in the business. And so I got a chance to do some music stuff out there, work with some artists, some artist development. And that was a good time. But I wish somebody would have told me having a teenager was so much work.
I mean, things.
They would have told me too.
You know.
At what point did you like, okay, I'm married, I'm not ideal anymore? Like, when did you, like, I'm just going to give up what my dream is?
Well, you know, not necessarily giving up, but the music business is a beast. And I was super young.
How old were you?
I was 18. And when I met my husband, I was 19, about to turn 20. So I was about 20. And, you know, like I said, the music business is, there's a lot of talented people out there. There's a lot of people that are wanting to continue the dream. But it becomes, it's a hustle out there, you know, and it's like gambling. You roll the dice, you know, sometimes you hit, sometimes you don't. And so for me, you know, when things kind of, they hit, and then it kind of, you know, it got a little quiet, and I was kind of on my own. And so as a young woman, I tried to keep it going, but at that point, it was just me.
So what were some of the challenges? What made you feel like it was just you? Like, what happened? Give me a little bit more detail.
So, you know, when you hot, you have a lot of people that want to work with you. And so the biggest transition, you know, I Do was such a big record, and the album did well, and I toured a lot. But when that transition from album 1 to album 2, there was a lot of behind the scenes stuff that happened. And so I wasn't having day to day with the actual, you know, with Arista Records. So at that point, I, you know, probably should have been more hands on, but when you're 18, 19, you don't really know those things. So when there was a change of leadership in my camp, I didn't really know who to call and who to talk to. And there was a time where it was just me. It was just me. So I just had to, you know, it's one of those things where you just, you enjoy what you had. You don't necessarily give up, but it just so happened I was dealt another hand. You know, I met my husband, and we had our son fairly young, and in that moment I was like, okay, I'm gonna keep on pushing. I kept doing music, you know, like I would still record, and you know, I lived in Atlanta for a while, and I did that, and but just wanted to be 100% of what my new hand that I was given. So.
Yeah, that hand look heavy, and I need some shades over here.
And what
that hand look heavy.
Hey, I done put in some work.
Yeah, starting from like 19, you deserve it.
I did not like that nigga when I first got together.
You didn't like
but that's my brother, man. That's a good dude.
That's
and he really does good by her. So.
Oh yeah.
What is one of your most memorable moments? Like, you was hot at the time, you know?
Yeah.
What was one of those most memorable moments where you just was like, oh my God, I can't believe this is happening. I can't believe this is them, or, you know, what?
Yeah, I would say my most memorable moment would have to be when I met Michael Jackson.
Okay, tell us about that.
So it was a show in LA.
Okay,
It was a
tell
radio,
us
you know,
about
radio show or
that.
whatever. And me, I was just a little networker, honey. So I was like talking to the program director and the music director, and every time I would go do a radio interview, you know, I was just so happy to be there. And they would say some artists would just be real short with them, and it would be the new artists. It wouldn't be the established artists. It'd be the new artists. I don't want to do these drops. I don't want to do these tags. And I would sit there for hours and be like, hey, you're listening to the whatever show. You know, like they give me a page. So I was cool with the dude. So security comes down. It's like, everybody go to your room. Like they making Red Hot Chili Peppers go to their room. What? They're making Ashanti go to her room. Like, go. And he goes, Toya, stay right here by me. They can't make me go. I'm the program director. Like, stay right here. Cool. So I'm standing there. They made my managers. Everybody had to go. It was just me by myself. And Michael walked up and he introduced himself to the program director. And he was like, this is Toya. And he put his hand out, shook my hand, and was like, hi, I'm Michael. I'm like, oh my God.
Did you say
and
something?
all I could say was, I'm Toya, and I love you. He said, and I love you too. Reached over and hugged me, and I literally start crying. Used to always judge people that cried when they met artists. Like, what is that about? Like, there is no way I'm going to just break down crying. Broke down, tears run down my face, and that was the best moment of my life.
Did you get a picture?
No.
Girl, I mean, I'm just.
Mike gonna give you memories.
It wasn't no camera phone.
Right, what you said.
It wasn't no camera phones back then.
Nah.
You could have a Polaroid.
Look, a Motorola two-way pager, shoot. I would have loved to have been Mike, but
Right, that's what he's done. Beam.
yeah, that was dope. That was a moment, you know. And it was crazy because all the new artists that I met were a little, you know, standoffish, but like those established artists, Mary and Brandy and Lenny Kravitz, they were just so kind and loving, and those are the
they
moments.
made the Red Hot Chili Peppers lead. It was that St. Louis swag that kept you in the room.
I guess I would take it.
Do you believe like what made you hot? Like as far as being here noticed, or did you go somewhere else? Like, because I don't know the whole story.
Like how I got discovered.
Right.
So my cousin Penelope from St. Louis, she was in the she was recording. And I just, oh my God, I just wanted to be with her, just wherever she went. So I'm in her studio session, just sitting there. Tony walks in. And, you know, she was like, oh, my cousin can sing. Tony, she's off the chain. Womp, womp, womp. So he just looks at me and goes, sing. And I tell every new artist or everybody that asks me, like, what's the most important thing you can say? Don't say you a rapper or a singer or a poet and you can't do your craft like on the rip. I hate when people be like, oh, my throat hurt. That's your moment. That was my moment. And I stood my little happy butt up and I'm talking about belted out. I won't complain because I was in the church. That's all I did was sung in the church. So he said, oh, okay, wow, you can sing. Do you have a demo? I was like, yeah. I didn't have nothing. I had nothing. I had never been in the studio. I was like, yeah, I do. He's like, all right, well, I'm meeting with some people in New York in 3 days. So so, you know, let me get that. I was like, okay, no problem. So I called my cousin Harold, and I'm like, oh, my God, what do I do? We literally went over to East St. Louis, hole-in-the-wall studio. It was like in the back of a tire shop or something. And he was the dude, the producer was like running down tracks for me. And he was playing R&B tracks. And I was like, okay, I like, you know, it's okay. And he played a song, and he was like, oh, my bad. And he stopped it. And me and my cousin were like, play that, we like that. He was like, no, that's a hip hop track. That's for some, you know, rappers. But we like that track. Play it. And he played it. It was I Do track.
Wow.
And so we sat in there and we just hammered it down, wrote it out. You know, first song that I think he ever wrote. The first song I had ever, you know, helped write on. He wrote it, I wrote it, and he had
Who was
some.
he?
My friend Harold guy.
Okay.
Cousin. He had some friends. That's what I was trying to say when I said friends. He had some friends that helped with the hook. And so we just threw it together, and I was like, okay, I don't know. Let's just give this to him and see what happens. We give it to Tony, and everybody up in New York fell in love with the song, and that's the way I got signed. Tony was like, okay, well, 2 weeks later, L.A. Reid wants to meet you. Okay, so then 2 weeks later, I go up there with them. So L.A. was very stoic. He's just looking at me like this while he's like, stand up and perform it. So he played it, and I'm in there just lip singing and performing. He's not giving me no type of, I like it, smile. He just like looking at me. And we get in the limo, head back to the airport. I'm crying. I'm like, I think I ruined my chance. Soon as the plane land, we turn our phone on. Tony's calling. L.A. wants to offer you a deal.
Wow.
A week later, I go up to New York. I'm thinking I'm just going up there to meet people. I end up being there for 8 months. Bust out the album. 2 months later, iDo's on the radio. It was just like, it happened fast.
Wow.
What was her on them at?
Huh?
What happened to her on them? That's what I want to know. Don't drink nothing. What happened to her?
Harold is still my cousin.
He a barber.
Sorry,
Harold a barber.
Harold is still my cousin. He is doing well.
What happened to her? Was Harold in the limo?
Yes, Harold was in the limo, but it was Harold and Shanae and DT. That was my management company.
What about the dude from the? It was the dude who made the track. Who was that?
Bam.
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 That was Bam. That was actually.
You know Bam?
No.
He did the produce. He was the
Because he
producer.
did, what he do? Nelly, what's the
He
song
did
with
Dilemma.
Kelly? Dilemma.
Dilemma.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Shouts
So
out
he
to
was
Bam.
somebody before you went over there.
No, he wasn't.
No.
Toya put him on.
He did that after that.
Did I?
Toya put him on.
You didn't know
No,
that?
I think Nelly put him on with
Nah,
Dilemma.
Toya put him on with I Do. That was first.
You should have got some Dilemma money.
Yeah, you put him on. Like,
Or I could have did the hook for Dilemma,
what
right?
you said.
That would have been hot, right?
Why you didn't talk to your manager?
Why should I have to?
Well, that's a whole other story. Oh shit!
Look, she got the rubber.
He was a
nose.
high.
I kind of feel like she been wanting to say that for a long time, so she didn't know how to tell you.
I guess Michael Bourne was asking about Harold.
Yeah, people
What
that
about
helped
the
on
people?
the,
They don't matter right now. This is Toya's moment.
you better stop talking. People been known to say too much on the show.
No. They definitely they were awesome. And just out of respect, they kind of wanted to be, in the back. I think they were working on other stuff, but always gonna give them their props. Harold brought them on, and so they were awesome.
She's being modest. I'm gonna say what
That's
happened.
the truth.
What
Tell
happened?
you what happened.
Yeah, tell us, T-Love.
Allegedly, L.A. Reid was sleeping with Blue Contrail.
Oh.
And Blue Contrail didn't like Toya because she thought that L.A. liked Toya.
Because Toya had that St. Louis swag, and she had that pretty girl.
And what really went down
It's
was
always some.
when you are the
pussy
new
involved.
artist, they're not supposed to get a certain amount of shine. So being that Blue was messing with LA, she got a very large amount of shine. So Toya says, why is Blue Cantrell getting all the shine?
You
Why
said
is
that?
She was young at this time. And she,
What was her man? What was your manager at when you said that?
she sang it to us. That's what I'm saying to you. I'm telling you. So, and we like, wait, what? She's like, why is she getting all the shine? Why? And we're like, shit, we don't know. We go to Tony. Then you find out, like.
And then me and L.A. had an argument.
And now I
Then
find
he
out the
said-
situation with Drew Dixon.
Yeah, then L.A. said, and Drew was actually the person that signed you. We'll
was
talk
my
about Drew in a
A&R.
minute, but L.A. he told me verbatim, I ain't want to fuck her no way.
Fuck who?
Toya.
Now, can I tell you something that I never told
Come
you
on,
this?
drop it on us.
I never told you this. Okay, so, and I told Harold this. We were called up to the office, and normally whenever I would meet with LA, Harold would come in the room. He was like, oh, we get up, they're like, LA's ready to see you, and they stop Harold. They say, no, he wants to meet with her by herself. And I told my sister this story. So I go in there, he's playing the new Usher album, Confessions. I think that was around the time, right?
Yep, that was around.
And I'm listening to it, whatever, and he's like, what do you think? And he's asking me questions. He's like, oh, I like your shirt, whatever. It was getting weird, but it wasn't weird. Then he stood up, he stood behind me, started rubbing my shoulders. And I think I jumped and I made him nervous, and he jumped back, and he was like, all right, well, And so when I talked to my cousin about it, I'm like, it felt weird. He was asking me weird questions. It was going to a different, place. Oh yeah, Mr. Barnes, Michael, if I wrote a book, child, please.
You could have been on SVU.
If I wrote a book,
Put it in a book.
but at that point, I didn't know what to say, and then I did talk to Drew about it, and me and Drew have actually had a conversation, Drew Dixon, because she came out about
Drew Dixon is
the
the
sexual
person
harassment that she went through,
about Russell Simmons.
and with LA. And with LA, she said in a meeting in front of everybody, he was like, dead the Toya project because of a situation that happened with him and her.
So what did I remember the name Blue Cantrell, but what did she actually do?
Hey, ladies, if you
Hit 'em up style.
She had like one song?
That was a hit,
Yeah.
y'all.
Kind of. So she was.
I think they still make commercials with that right now.
I can understand why she probably, because she, I get it.
And it was more about Tricky Stewart and the other guys that she was signed to.
Yeah.
Because her name, it rung a lot of business.
He
like,
said, don't get messy now.
Toya just dropped some tea on us I never heard before.
She love drops with tea. That's what fucked me up.
But Toya came back with that bam, bam, bam.
No, because I mean, it's so much that happens behind the scenes. People don't understand. They be like, why you don't do this? Why you don't do that? Why you didn't try to do this? And like, you know, DT was around. There was a lot of tears. You know, you think if I work hard, if I'm a good person, if I put out good music, if I, you know, like it was blood, sweat, and tears. I thought it was a dope album. You know what I mean? But what happened, originally, they were pushing me as an urban record. Yeah. So I was doing all the urban shows, right? And then all of a sudden, it exploded on pop accidentally.
Because it was house music, too.
Then they snatched me off of the urban, you know, circuit, and they threw me on pop. It was almost like they didn't know what to do. They were like, okay, we're going to do this. And the song, I toured on that song and that album for almost 2 years. Wow. My last tour was in Australia.
Who's you touring with?
Who have I performed with?
I'm saying, like, on your tour.
Who's I told? My last tour, it was Bon Jovi, Pink, Shaggy, and some artists from the UK.
Oh,
they don't even make
Pink
sense.
And Shaggy?
Trust, it do.
It was
because a lot of these radio stations, they just see what's hot in their market and they pull those artists.
No, I'm not saying it makes sense, but for me, like if I'm going to see Bon Jovi, it's like the song you got was a great song.
Absolutely.
But I kind of feel like it was like a black song. Let's say that. So here, when I think of Bon Jovi, I don't think none of us want to see no damn Bon Jovi.
But see, you say a black song, right? That song did better on pop,
That's
quote unquote, white radio.
Right.
Most of my audience were white, young children.
How did you feel about that?
I was frustrated because I feel like with my second single, because the song was so pop, I didn't even like my second single, I'm going to be honest. I was like, I get it. I understand that, you know, this particular, you know, but they like this sound. I don't want to, and I feel like I abandoned my sound. And then the song was so pop. And then the video was so pop. And I told them, I said, okay, second album or second song. Let's go to St. Louis. I want to, like, my aunt lives over there. Where's Anita live? Natural Bridge. Like, I want to go down there. This is where I was in the hood. Like, this is where I grew up.
So you had no control over it?
None. I was like, I want to do my second video in St. Louis. I want all my people, cousins, I want people to come out their house and just turn up when we have a good time. I felt like that would have, because that's what everybody was doing. That's what Nelly was doing. Mm-hmm. Nelly was bringing everybody in the middle of the street, and, you know, everybody was embracing that. And I felt like, you know, I had the STL hat, but I wasn't doing my videos in St. Louis. I was in LA.
But we still felt like you represented.
I appreciate that.
Was it a reason? I mean, besides, I don't think mine is like L.A. Reid. I'm just gonna say them. Who was you signed to? Who was you signed to? Arista. Mm-hmm. So you felt like it was Arista behind you doing this, or was it more of him, or it was certain people that wouldn't let you do the St. Louis thing?
I feel like you got, like, I get frustrated because sometimes you have a group of people at these record labels that sit in there that really don't know the streets. They don't know what people want to see, but they're educated. Numbers. You know, they did their internships, and now I'm in charge of your AR project, and I'm going to tell you what's hot and what the people want to hear. And they say it just like that, and you're like, yo, I get it, right? But just saying, you know, let's follow the plan, the blueprint. Like Nelly was showing y'all what's working. This man is here in St. Louis. I'm so St. Louis. Like, I don't want to be in LA. Like, who are these girls that y'all got as my friends? Like, I got tons of cousins. You get what I'm saying? Like, so that was a frustration. I feel like they didn't know what to do with it. Like, exploded before people could figure out really what to do with it and what direction. It was like, oh snap, we gotta hit it while it's hot. And it was just like, oh, okay, this group is grabbing it. Let's just make it that. And with the second single, I was like, y'all.
What was the second single?
It was No Matter What. Party All Night. And it was Poppy, 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 and the visual was Poppy, Poppy, Poppy.
I'm trying to think who wrote that.
Did you ever get a chance to do a single with Nelly? Was it ever brought up, like anything in that time?
Oh, I want to hear this because, baby,
You want to talk about that?
Oh,
Because
on the second hour.
I
she want to hear from you.
No, I want to hear from you.
So, yeah, that would have been cool because you know how, like, Murder Inc., like, snatched up Ashanti and was like, we got you, girl. That would have been cool.
That's what you wanted?
I would have loved that because I loved them. Like, Kiwan, Ali, Murph was my dog. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I knew Nelly, you know, but
what do you feel stopped it?
Things that were beyond my control.
Like what?
Things that were beyond my control.
Dang, come on, you didn't
I feel like I got caught in stupid stuff. But Nelly was so Murph did my remix to I Do, and originally Nelly was supposed to do my remix. From what I was told, because, you know, things were happening over my head, Nelly wanted a substantial amount of money for the feature, and LA was not going to pay that amount. He didn't think he should have. Like, this is hometown. She got a lot of connects, and because Arista wouldn't budge, Nelly wouldn't do it, they only cleared Murph.
I'm not shocked.
T-Love, is that how it went?
That's how it went.
So, Toya.
Go ahead.
So you share with us your best moment.
Okay.
I like to be a little messy. So what would you consider one of your top worst moment in the industry?
Well, okay. One is super funny. I was just real sensitive. It was my first time dealing with like how mean the media could be. Okay. This was bad. So my visual for I Do, I had a black outfit on, like Burberry outfit, and I'm standing. Oh Jesus! But you know, I'm standing, and oh my God, what's his name? He's on. God, what is his name?
What was he like
a DJ? Like a DJ.
Capri?
No. What's his name? He's so gosh darn mean.
Drama?
No, they have the show. It's 2 dudes and a girl.
Charlemagne or Envy.
Charlemagne, mean ass. To this day, if I ever saw him, he said it. I looked like I had a stick up my ass. And baby, it got back. And when I tell you, I cried like a baby because I was just like, I'm so like naive, and I didn't know that hurt my feelings so bad.
He probably know what it's
like.
like.
Oh my God, I was like, what?
So y'all see Charlemagne now.
He like, was mean
before he got to make it. Yeah, before he he was.
And then you got to think he was with Wendy Williams. It was Charlemagne and Wendy Williams.
Yeah.
So like,
yeah, that hurt my feelings just because I didn't know, you know, and that's. Maybe if I had been a little harder, I probably could have took the business a little longer.
You come from a city
girl,
where they Joan all day long.
They can tell you all day. I'm from Karen House. I lived in Webster Groves. My mom ain't let me go nowhere. We couldn't go off the porch. You hear me?
She was
I'm from Karen's house.
Y'all remember Channel 11 Kids?
Team 11.
Team 11?
Yes, I was one of them.
She was a Team 11.
Yeah, you like a Team 11
So you
kid.
was meant to be a star.
Oh, I mean, I loved it. I mean, I love being in the studio and performing was my most favorite moment. Like, I remember one time I was performing with Jessica Simpson on some show. It was raining. They were trying to get us not to go out. And I went out there and sung my little heart out. And I saw a young lady out in young lady. She was a little girl. You could tell she had cancer because it was like patchy hair. And I could see kids making fun of her. So I'm one of those. I'm like, oh, I'm going to get them. I literally, during my show, I walk off stage. I go get her. I put her on the side of the stage. I'm like, yeah, you rub it in their little damn face. So we go. I had a bag of scarves. And I'm like, you know what? You go in there. You pick whatever scarf you want. She done reached and I forgot. I had like a $600 scarf that had like crystals on it. Everything else was the little scarf you get from the damn beauty supply store. Boy, she done reached in there and pulled out that scarf and was like, this would mean the world. Oh my God. And she's crying. And boy, Harold was looking at me and he's funny. We used to tease him because he's like, told you not to talk to
that
them
in
kids.
the budget.
And I was like, I'm just like, oh God. But I couldn't tell her no. But it just, it meant the world to me to just be able to do that for her. But I don't know. You know what? I think the hardest moment for me was when, you know, the music business, it moves on. It's unforgiving. And it's I had to learn it wasn't personal. You get what I'm saying? But when you hot and everything is going, everybody's there. And when it kind of, that in between albums, I looked around and it was just me. And that was hard. It was hard not to take it personal. And I think, honestly, that's kind of the reason why I just kind of had to just dust myself off and say, okay, on to the next phase of life. It is what it is. These are the cards I'm dealt. I met my husband, it was amazing. We got married and I got pregnant real quick, right? And I just, it's corny and people say it, but your child is born. You look at your child, I'm giving you my everything. And so I just wanted to be the best mom I could be for my kid. And I was like, all right, this is my new role. And little did I know that coaching world, Jesus. Jesus.
So,
Like being
But
in
the
music
music
business.
world
So-
kind of said,
I feel like
I
you know what I had to do? Like, and that's just how I'm built. I pushed it so deep down. All the hurt, all the frustration, all the disappointment, all the, I don't know what's going on. Why? I didn't have no answers, but I still had to move. I still had to function. I still had to live. You know what I mean? Like, people that I was close to, I wasn't talking to no more. Petty stuff would happen. People would write me off. I'm sitting there. I done fed a lot of people. I done brought a lot of people on. I done did everything I could, and I looked around. I'm sitting there by myself at 20. Like,
That's deep.
I gotta be strong and I gotta move on. And I met my husband and I left. Now, you know why I'm here right now? Because I was invited. I love St. Louis. Anybody invite me to do a show, an interview?
she can't come after the What Up Though Radio.
Hey, I'm here.
I'm Earl.
I'm on
Earl.
social media. I'm here. I ain't never.
Name on social media.
Toya Martin. I'm married. Toya Martin. But I love St. Louis. I'm always repping St. Louis. I ain't leave St. Louis. My mama here. Like, I got a house here. So when I'm invited, I'm going to come back. And when I'm not, I'm going to stay in my place.
You have great energy.
Thank
seem
you.
To be so
I got a
humble,
question.
So open. I love it.
I can't help it.
So you met T. Was he already in the NFL or was he still in Tennessee?
He was in the NFL. He almost got not met. Ooh, Jesus. Let me tell you something. I'm at a show. It was Ashanti, City High, Ja Rule, and it was somebody else. I can't remember. We in Pittsburgh. So I will always perform, and I love watching the other artists. So I'm going to do my set, and then I remember while I was doing my set, it was all these white kids and this tall black dude, like just in the middle. It was weird. It was like, okay, just standing there looking.
Right.
Perform, hey, So afterwards, I'm sitting there with my sister, and she kind of looked back, like, what, cute? I was like, mm-mm. I saw him first. So we sitting there, and this lady walks over, and she's like, hi, my name is Mocha. I'm a publicist. I represent T. Martin. He thinks you are so beautiful.
That's what
He's
they
a
do?
football player. I said, oh, no, I don't date football players. No, thank you. No, thank you. So I said, tell him thank you. So he walks over. He was like, hi, I don't mean no harm. I just want to meet you, So we had the pagers, the Motorola pagers. So he's like, can I beam you? Because I was like, he's like, can I get your number? No. Can I beam you? Sure. So we beam each other. Him and Plaxico were having a party. So they knew where all the artists were staying. We're all staying at one hotel. So him and Plex come, and he's telling Plex, he's like, man, I'm telling Plex, hey, yeah, I bet Toya, I'm about to go. He gets there, and he's hitting me up, and my managers were like, you don't know that man. You ain't going nowhere with him. Hell no, we don't know him, so I stood him up. So we still go back and forth, we, hitting each other up. So he went to NFL Europe, and that's when I went to Australia. So we lost contact for about a year. When he came back, he was like, I was just hitting up, my homeboys, and I saw your name. And he hit me up and was like, oh, hey, how are you doing? I'm like, okay. So we talked for a little bit. He was like, yeah, I'm playing for the Raiders now. I would love for you to come out, whatever. So I'm like, yeah, I come out, but you got to give me all hotel room. Cause
Sound good.
Boy, that thing was so bad at me. And so we vibed and we connected. And every time it was time for me to go home, he was like, change your ticket. I did that 5 weeks straight.
Dang.
So he was about to go back to Atlanta for off season. I went to St. Louis. I lasted 2 days. He lasted 2 days. So he flew me down there. I rolled the dice at work. We be married almost 18 years.
Damn. That's what's up.
In November.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right.
What was the transition like with him getting out the NFL? Was it hard for him to do it, or was it easy to be like, you know what, this shit ain't? Because I'm pretty sure the NFL kind of like the music business a little bit.
It's challenging.
And plus it's a lot of politics.
It's a lot of politics.
So was it
Especially
easy?
he's a black quarterback.
Right, and they weren't that popular back
They
then.
weren't hitting. Right now, what they doing?
They wasn't hitting.
That's what T was doing back in the day, right? When you do something consistently from the age 5, you go to practice, you eat healthy, you work out, you do that. All these players, because the NFL, what people don't understand is most of their careers are less than 2 years. Just because you get drafted, you know, we were just talking about this I know I'm jumping, but we were just talking about this a couple of days ago because I went to their practice, the rookie practice. The rookies come the first week, and then there's a team. Contracts are done. So it don't matter. Like, was it 53 spots, right?
Yep.
You got like almost 100 people out there. Most of them spots are took. Because if I done already paid Nelson Aguilar and I done paid Odell, they playing. You get what I'm saying?
Okay, so
and Bateman playing. These are receivers for the Ravens.
For the Ravens, because everybody knows. So he's with the Ravens now.
He's the quarterback coach for the Ravens.
Okay, that's right.
Yeah.
2023.
I know they was on your ass then.
You listen up.
Who?
About Lamar.
Everybody kept asking me, and I had to tell people. I was like,
Oh
let me
my
explain
God.
something to you. They were like, come on, tell me. If I knew, which I didn't because I have a rule with teas, stuff like that, don't bring that in my house and stress me out, right? But if I knew, I'm not going to tell you the juicy gossip because you got somebody that you close to that you going to tell the juicy gossip to,
Right.
and they got somebody. And I can't get my husband fired.
Right.
Oh, thank you. 2023. Most R&B music that we hear now is from women. There's not a lot of male R&B artists that get radio play. Who you listening to right now? Because they really dominating the game right now.
I love Summer Walker.
Well, I knew you was gonna say that.
I fool with her.
That's
hard.
my girl.
Hard. She is everything. Her
Everything.
and then, I mean, Chris Brown is one of my all-time favorites.
Right.
I love his voice.
Speaking
Lucky
of Chris
Day,
Brown.
love him.
Lucky Day.
Speaking of Chris Brown.
What? Lucky Day, hard.
Lucky Day hard.
Hard. My husband put me on to him.
Yeah, Lucky Day.
But I was a little upset with him because I feel like when he got something to say, but he don't want to argue, he just put that on. And I just be like,
left me on
Lucky
red.
is always fussing about some damn woman. Why you gotta always play this loud too? Like, I'm like, if you got something to say it with your chest. Like, this feels very passive aggressive.
You like Brent?
Yes.
Yeah, he nice too.
Yes.
I
yes.
like Brent. He
Absolutely.
Nice.
Who you don't like? You ain't gotta answer that.
Yes, you
No, I'm not
do.
gonna tell you who I don't like. What I would tell you is, you know, I feel like, and I tell my son this, I feel like their generation requires very little from their artists.
Yes, I agree with you.
I don't care if you were a rapper, baby. I need you to be on some Tupac stuff. I need you to be poetic.
Yeah.
It needs to make sense to me, right? Now it's like,
They don't need skill.
and they be like, oh, that's hot, that. I can't. So that's when I show my age,
Do
I
you
guess.
feel like there is an agenda with our radio play as far as the trash that they let on the radio versus what could be on? Like, it's not a lot of love on the radio
It's
right
political.
now. Okay.
Jasmine Sullivan, why did it take so long for her to really hit?
Yeah.
And
she's
that's
still
the
not
most.
where she should
And
be.
she's not where she should be. What do you say?
Don't look no reason. If you know the L.A. Reid show the lead.
But it wasn't just me. It sounded like it was some stuff with Drew.
You'd have been on Me Too.
Yeah, I would have probably.
Me too.
Probably.
Is
But
that still
glad you
prevalent?
hit 'em with this shoulder
Are there
blade.
is still predatory producers like that
absolutely.
right now?
It's hard for
Yeah.
women.
As
long
It's
as
hard
it's
for women.
Men and women.
It's
gonna
hard.
always be.
I feel like it's harder for young women.
DT, we're going to discuss your,
It's hard for young women, right? Because you're trying to, you want to be cool. Like for me, like, you know, I was raised in the church. My mama, first boy call I got, I was 16. And then I'm 18, 19. I'm in New York trying to grind it out, thinking I know what I'm doing. My mom, you know, had a lot of health problems, so she wasn't there. I didn't have a momager. My dad was non-existent. So it was just me, you know, and you can be, you know, like I tell my husband, I know when a woman's flirting with him, and he knows when a man, sometimes men don't catch when a woman is being extra, and women don't catch it until you done got yourself in a situation where you in the studio by yourself, you like, oh, wait a minute, hold up, you get what I'm saying? And so that's why Harold stayed his behind with me all the time.
So DT was your manager.
DT, Shanae, and Harold. I had 3 managers. DT was my road manager.
DT ever did something to you, pissed you off before?
Never.
Never? What about T-Love?
Never.
Oh, shit.
That's good.
Never.
That's good.
Damn.
I just got one question. Are you willing at this day and age, are you willing to sing the national anthem for them?
For who?
for these people because they cannot understand.
I'm gonna keep it a buck. I don't even stand up for it.
You ain't got to stand up, but the most required.
You don't stand up?
No, I do. I
Can
stand
sing the
up.
first
I
song
stand up.
she sung.
No, have you ever heard her sing the?
Oh, you want her to actually sing?
No. Tony should have told me that's what I was doing.
I got a serious question here.
That's all you said. She
So you thought about not standing up for the national anthem even when he was the quarterback coach?
Absolutely. I stand up.
Was it a problem?
You know what? Okay, so I will tell you this. With my husband being a coach, I have to be very careful about my social media. If you look at my social media, there's nothing political, religious, or racial stuff. I have to be very careful. But, you know, I have had some very uncomfortable conversations with some coaches' wives because, you know, like when we were at USC and we were talking about Title IX. And, you know, they were talking about women. And there was a running back there that had a girlfriend over. Not a girlfriend, a girl. She was inebriated. He was inebriated. They're the same age. He had to go to practice. Because he knew if he didn't get his butt and go to practice, he was going to run. She's throwing up. So he was like, hey, he tilted her head over. He didn't kick her out. He left her in his room. He's like, hey, throw up in this basket right here. So he leaves. He's, of course, messing with other girls because they weren't in a committed relationship. A month later, she went and said he did X, Y, and Z to me. No proof, just her word. This boy lost. He got kicked out of school, ended up getting back in the streets, and got sentenced to like 10 years. Ruined his life. So I'm talking to the lady, and I'm like, you don't understand what it's like to have a black son. Yeah. Every day, I'm in fear. Every day. My son goes to the University of Miami. He plays baseball. Every single day, I said, you have daughters. You have white daughters. Let's just keep it a buck. When your daughters walk down the street, nobody clutches their pearls and does this. When my son, the moment he leaves out, he's a threat. He's a threat. Just his being, his essence, he's a threat, right? I'm like, why should I have to tell my 18-year-old son that if he gets inebriated, they shouldn't, but if he gets inebriated, he has to be more mature and understand what's going on than this 18-year-old little girl. Yeah. They're the same age. But I have to tell my child, you can't. A drunk, yes, is a no. And you can't get drunk because, and then in that moment, they weren't even that drunk. She got mad because he was messing with somebody else. Right. And she said, oh, month later.
Typical story.
And I just, you know, it's a lot.
As you talk about, like, having a black son, even though he's away at school right now, but you live in the Baltimore area right now, right? Mm-hmm. Baltimore and St. Louis kind of got the same type of crime.
Yeah.
Like, how do you feel about, well, I'm pretty sure you weren't growing up like on the wire and shit like that, but as far as like having to keep your child out of the mischief and the things that, because like St. Louis this weekend went crazy with the youth.
Yeah.
Like, how do you keep your child away from things like that?
So, we move around a lot. My son went to 4 high schools because of my husband's job. We were in LA and he got fired at USC the middle of my son's freshman year. We moved him to Tennessee. T leaves Tennessee and he takes the receiver's job with the Ravens the end of my son's junior year. We gave him our word. It's going to be amazing. You're going to love it. He got up there. He didn't like it. I don't know Baltimore. We live on the outskirts, the different city, right? The suburbs. He went to school up there for the first half of his senior year. I didn't let him go nowhere. You want friends over? They got to come here. We can have a party down here. I take you where it's just a different vibe. And I'm like, son, you don't know the area. You don't know. Kind of like if somebody come to St. Louis, you got to know where you going, who you with. You don't know how people.
But you don't know B-more.
Right. And so he hated it up there, and it was crazy. He came home, and, you know, I don't play about mental health, especially with our black kids, because they are taught, don't share your feelings, be strong, be tough. And he came home one day, and he sat down, and I could tell he was emotional. He was like, I hate it here. I'm not happy. I'm depressed. When he said, I'm depressed, I looked at my husband, I said, hey, bro, I hope our marriage can survive these 6 months, but I'm taking my baby wherever he want to go to enjoy his senior year. So we said, where you want to go? If he had said California, we would have went. He said, I want to go to Georgia. You know, all my friends are down there. So me and my 2 younger sons, my 2 sons, we moved to Georgia. And my husband just commuted because I said he deserves happiness. Right. He deserves a couple, like he deserves to go to school and be happy because he about to go into this real world. Hey, I've been there.
So
Nothing nice.
Being a coach's wife, you know, like you said, the longer football career lasts 2 years. And when you're a coach, bam, I was in New York, now I'm in LA. Do you have to bounce every time? Like, do you be like, fuck, like, I'm gonna just chill for a second?
You can get fired. You can get a better job. So for me, I'd say between January and February is when the coaching carousel starts, right? I don't know. And that's usually when I go dark on everybody. I'm not talking to nobody because I'm trying to, in my mind, get my mind ready because guess what? When my husband comes home, like when we were in Tennessee, we didn't know. He just looks at me and goes, I just took a job with the Baltimore Ravens. 2 days later, he gone. He got to get up here. He got to start learning.
So y'all didn't talk about that at all?
No.
Is that normal?
Yeah. Yeah. If you get fired, what you gonna do?
No. I thought you said he took the job as if he was leaving.
So he was with the coach that got fired at Tennessee.
Oh, well, yeah. Everybody got to go.
No, they wanted to keep T there because that was his alma mater. But he decided, he was like, you know what, Toya, I think it's best, you know, if I explore some other options. Just see, because he didn't know who they were going to hire. And, you know, it was a great opportunity. He wanted to go to the NFL. That's always been, you know, a goal of his. And, you know, he interviewed a couple of different places, and he just felt like that was the good fit. As a wife, I got to support that. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, I could, that's his dream. And I'm going to always, you know, I was like, hey, if you think that's what you need to do for your career, let's go. He left. I stayed back. I got to sell the house. I got to pack up this joint. I got to find a school for these kids. So it's a lot, which is kind of why I had to make a decision. Do I continue to chase this music, which I love? Like, I wish I could find, like, a band that I could just sing with on the weekends because I love my craft. But I didn't have a lot of help.
Would you still do it today?
Absolutely.
We got a big following in Baltimore. We got like 5 viewers.
I would love to. You know, T keeps saying they want you to sing the national anthem for the game, you know. And it's funny because when we first moved to Tennessee, I'm taking my son to high school. He's a middle of his freshman year. We pull up and his homeboys figured out who I was because I don't tell people who I am. Right. You know, I just try to lay low. And we pull up and they're blasting I Do in the parking lot. And my son's like, oh my God, Mom, this is weird.
Who was the coolest NFL person like outside of like? Have you ever met like somebody like, man, they cool as fuck, or they family?
Lamar Jackson. That dude is so cool.
Lamar, that dude.
Man, he's so cool. He loved T. Like, I remember our first year there, because we park in the same parking lot with the players. So I have to tell my people, like, hey, y'all, look, we get out this car, don't ask nobody for the autograph. Keep it cool. Please, now, don't embarrass
Don't be no groupie.
Please don't be none.
She gonna have to tell me that.
So, Holiday was still playing there, and he was real cool with Lamar. So T called me because he's already at the state. He's like, hey, when y'all get there, just stay in the car. When Lamar get out, he said he gonna take a picture with Caden. Okay. So Lamar pull up, we get out, and he like, what up, Caden? Like, he just, every time we asked him to sign something, I mean, we probably wore him out. He was like, so we gotta get this man about 6 months. But every time we asked him, like, I ordered his he has like a children's book that he wrote. He signed a couple of them for some people in my family, but he's just so cool. And, you know, I'll say this, I didn't understand what was going on with Lamar, you know, but it's always what we think, but never what we know. And now, the man looks like a genius.
Was T excited about Odell?
T was extremely excited about Odell, but we signed Odell when T wasn't in the room. T was the receivers coach, and then they asked him did he want to interview for the quarterback job. So he interviews for the quarterback job, and we don't know what's going on with Lamar. So T was like, I don't know who I'm coaching.
and that, like with that being said, behind the scenes a little bit, I kind of feel like that they had to know something.
No. The only people that knew anything was Lamar and the GM.
Okay.
Everybody else can assume. They can, you know.
So T took the job hoping he was coming back, but he really didn't know.
He took the job and he believed, and at the end of the day, T is a quarterback. He was a quarterback,
right.
You know, and I think he's one of 3 or 4 black quarterback coaches in the NFL, so that's a huge accomplishment.
Well, now it makes sense that he in Baltimore with
yeah,
okay.
But
it makes a whole lot of sense now.
And so, like, he loves Lamar, and I mean, he is thrilled to coach Lamar, you know, because Lamar is a good dude, and he's super smart, and he loves Baltimore, but people don't understand. Fans don't understand this is a business.
Yeah. To know him personally and to hear the vitriol and everything that everybody negative got to say about him, like,
yeah.
How does that feel? Like, how do you soak that in? Like, and knowing that he's taking it in, he's not going crazy on Twitter. He just speaks his mind.
I'm terrible at games. There's a few times I have to tell people sitting around me, please don't call me Toya. It's only one Toya on this staff. If I start cutting up, call me Tiffany or Brittany. Some other name.
I'm lost.
But I'm going to tell you, like sports mom, sports coach's wife, I'll be quick to tell somebody, you know, they got extra helmets down there if you think you can run that play better. Or if you think you can call it better.
This what you be doing at the game?
I'll be cutting up.
What do you sit at? Yeah, so you sit in the box. You can't. You
I
gotta.
don't sit in the box. I sit in the stands.
Oh my God.
Yeah, cause
I'm from St. Louis, baby.
the stands, like, cause they have, like, even it's in the stands, but you around Baltimore Ravens family.
No, people will sell their tickets and give them to the opposing team, and I give them what they want. I know how to like give them what they want. I pull back a little bit because I'm like, okay, I don't want nobody to say T. Martin White, blah, blah, blah. But I got a smart mouth. Oh, I got a smart mouth. My sister. Yeah.
Which one your sister over there? She
over here with the braids.
Hey,
What's up,
sis?
sis?
How you doing, sis?
Oh, well, we had to look. I just looked over there. She just pointed.
What's up, represent for the Lou.
Nephew, niece, little niecey poo, niece
Y'all-
in love.
Y'all go to Baltimore games too?
They've been in some. They've seen me cut up.
I had a chance to get Jalen Ramsey jersey and I ain't even say it.
Scary.
Why not?
Well, actually he recruited Jalen to come to USC, but he ended up going to Florida State. But T was close. He's close to Jalen, and so we were on the field. And he ain't say nothing. And, you know, T ain't got time.
Cause
So
Toya
he
said,
did.
"Don't act like no."
Yeah,
No,
that's probably what
hell
happened.
no.
I think she gave that
No. I told him.
Yeah, she gave that speech.
You don't know.
And on the way home, my husband like, Cam, why you do that, man? You should have said something. I'd have got you the jersey. He was trying to give him his jersey.
I'd have said, why you didn't get it for me?
Baby, when I tell you Cam about fell out in the middle of the grass. I told him I was trying to get his life
I would have been
together.
like, forget TT. I'm finna go holler at
Okay,
him.
I'm trying to come back. I'm trying to come back. I'm like, no, T.I.
I'm breaking the rules.
Being as talented as you are, would you recommend getting out of St. Louis to be seen?
No, because it's different now. You have so many social media outlets right now. You can be anywhere. You can be seen. You can be anywhere and be seen. But I will say you have to be open to change. And you don't have to necessarily leave. Like I said, I have a house here. My family is here. My friends are here. Like I'm gonna come through. Now, like I said, I'll dip in, see who I need to see. And I mean, St. Louis is grown. I don't even know where to go. I don't know where to go. I don't know what's popping. I don't know what's cool. So usually I'm gonna hit Tonya. Where you at?
I asked that because your story was like Motown genuine. Like,
Yeah.
I went over here, I lied about this, and I went over here to the tire
Yeah.
shop. Like, you don't get that anymore. Like
No.
you said, so many different avenues to become successful.
Yeah.
Like a lot of times we sit at the table and whenever somebody comes in,
For the light of night.
be like, are you from, like, did you do better by going to LA or did you do better by staying here? We love our city, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, like, sometimes you gotta love your city with a spoon. Like, let me take some
Yeah.
and get the fuck away from it a
I
little
think
bit.
Toya's background though makes her the way she is. Like she said, she grew up in the church. You can tell,
Yeah.
by the way she's talking, how she expressed herself. You can tell she grew up like that. I think.
And
that
I grew
comes
up
out today.
naive. I think that's too. I was
that
an
means
easy
you made a lot of
target.
mistakes
I
in your
did.
life.
I got burnt a lot. I have a very trusting heart. I lead with my heart. You know, even now I'm a little harder. I'm a little more protective. I'm a little more standoffish. Not perfect, but you know, I love people. I did a lot for people. And when people didn't understand how I moved, I feel like I got manipulated a lot. And I feel like the easiest thing to do sometimes is just walk away. And so for me, I just had to, I mean, like, I miss music like you wouldn't believe. I miss the stage. I miss performing. I miss all of that. But at some point, you gotta move on. You gotta play the hand you dealt. I would love to have a Boston every time I sit up and play spades, but if all I got is 2 and a possible,
So
I'm gonna play it.
So what you saying that, or you saying that you don't get offers to do shows? If you got offers, would you do some of them here and there? Or
Absolutely. But you know, I know with that comes I would have to get like a manager that could, you know, do that. I know that this man trying to run a whole rest, you know, like I know he got a lot going on, right?
He get you on tour.
I mean, yeah, it's a lot, but it's just for me. I try not to bother anybody, and I think I'm just one of those. I can't sit in the sadness for too long. I gotta pop out. I gotta figure out.
They want you to sing the hook of the song. I asked 4 5 times.
It's like
Toya said she ain't come here to sing.
What?
Walk
Actually,
away. You heard that, Farrah. Walk away. Go ahead, but anybody walk away.
Hey, it is what it is,
So
But like I
saying.
said, the biggest thing, my son, huge in baseball. He had me traveling.
this at Miami.
He's at Miami right now. Doing well. I've traveled all over with him, and
what position he play?
he plays center field, right field, and he's a lefty pitcher.
Okay.
And so
He's a Capricorn.
What grade is he in?
he's a freshman. He
You stupid.
could have went in the draft, but the baseball world, baseball money is different.
It's not all black people in baseball right now.
You know what they're going to pay you before you agree to get drafted or not.
Right.
And there were a few people in the beginning of the draft that took less money, so it just knocked everybody's money down, right? And I mean, I ain't trying to be funny for us. The money that they were trying to give him, it wasn't life-changing money with taxes and things. And luckily for him, he didn't need it per se. So for us, I was just like, look, it would have had to have been something different. Take your behind to school. You're not even ready for the world. You know what I'm saying? Like, he done had a silver
Hold on,
spoon in his
Ferg,
mouth
you
for the
just-
rest of his life, all his life. So.
Fair know about the lefty.
Fair, you know about the left?
We know the kids are athletes. Now, can they sing? Any one of them can sing?
You know what? No. And my polar baby,
No.
my oldest son,
No.
my oldest son was back there singing. I thought he was playing. I'm cracking up. I look back. That boy got tears right. He's like, "Dang, Mom, I thought I sounded good." I'm like, oh,
Damn.
my bad, baby.
Or your kids like? Are you still like real church going right now? Or has that changed for you?
We don't go to church all the time. I grew up in the church, so
Right.
I've seen a lot.
It burned out a
what I
couple
mean?
times.
And not everybody that is religious, very big in the church. Sometimes church folks can be really mean.
Church hurt.
So, when I graduated, I think I took about 2 years off from church. But you got to understand, my mom, man, because I could sing, I was like Sunday school, morning service. Then my grandfather was a pastor.
You get burnt out on it a lot.
Everybody got to go home, and I had to go to the afternoon service and sing. But right before, then we had the night program. I was churched out.
You was your grandfather was a preacher.
Yes.
See, now I'm looking at you different.
Oh, Lord.
That was the worst.
Nah, we just
go
be
to
soft.
first church,
Let me rub your shoulders, girl.
Come here, let me talk to you.
It was Pastor L.A. Reid.
You hear me? Put these hands. Let me put these hands on your shoulders.
Let me bless your song.
Let
Let me bless that song.
Do and most of them just take or they just take time away. They take time away because you get churched out, and what jades you a little bit is you see the nastiness sometimes. You see, like we used to call them the little old bitty crew in the corner. They just always had something to say. Every time one of the kids wanted to do a play, it was like, I don't want them to do that. Or every time we tried to do something, I don't want it. So you like, y'all are so damn mean, but you over here peddling Jesus. Or somebody will walk in a church and they homeless and they got on pants and you like, you can't come in here because you ain't got a skirt on.
I went to a church. They didn't want the woman. They didn't want a woman pastor to
Hey,
lead the
J.R.
church.
Rose say my father.
I'm like,
a
okay,
pastor.
that's
I
it.
can relate.
I'm trying to
Like really, like they didn't want like the pastor had retired.
Yeah.
And they had a different coming, and like the lady came in. I don't want to say no names, and she was good. I was kind of hooked. They was like, well, she can't be it because they not gonna let be. I'm like, this don't make no sense.
That's how it is.
I'm like, man, y'all had me for a minute.
Yeah.
I joined the church and everything.
You know what? I'm spiritual, not very religious.
Yeah, it's a difference.
I'm very spiritual.
Hey,
I love God. I know God.
Can somebody please explain that to me? What is spiritual when you say that?
I love the Lord. I'm all about God. I don't get into the religious of Pentecostal and Seventh-day Adventist and Jehovah and Baptist and Presbyterian. I don't get into all of that.
Non-denomination.
I love God.
Yeah.
And, I try to live my life in that regard with my children. I ain't going to lie, and this is so bad to say. We a sports mother. A lot of games be on Sunday morning.
Right.
So I gotta do that.
The Lord is with you.
But God is with me, honey, and He knows, and my children know I love Jesus, and my mother is, baby, #1 Christian. So she come have church in the house with us.
I know y'all be cold as hell in Baltimore too, boy.
It's cold.
Y'all went from.
It's still cold.
You went from USC to Baltimore.
No, USC to Tennessee.
So Tennessee was like in a. You might get some.
But we did COVID in Tennessee. I'm gonna keep it a bud. They was real strict in California. I was kind of happy that if we had to do COVID, we did it, baby. Because in Tennessee, it did not exist. COVID was not real.
That's how they was
talking.
talking.
Yeah,
that's how they was talking.
Yeah.
I'm not wearing it mask.
The SEC didn't care about. The SEC conference
we
didn't
played,
care
and
about.
you know
it.
what's so funny? That year, Tennessee we were going to a bowl game. 30 players and all the coaches got COVID, so we had to forfeit the game. This was the Monday before Christmas. My husband called me. I'm taking my son to like a baseball workout, and he called me, babe, turn the car around. I tested positive. And you know, I'm scary, and I'm a germaphobe. So when I tell you, I cried the whole way home. I'm begging this man. Our house was beautiful in Tennessee. Go downstairs. Workout room, bedroom, kitchen, everything was downstairs. Please go downstairs. I ain't going downstairs. Go on me. Stay in my house. I'm going to stay. And I talk like how. That's how he talk. He from Mobile, Alabama. So he got a little I'm staying in my room. So, okay, tomorrow, if you give me COVID, I'm going to kill you.
I'm going to kill you.
Because I'm scared now. So, one night, I went like Wednesday night. I'm laying on, because I'm not going in there with you. So, I'm asleep on the couch. I feel somebody tapping me. I look up.
Oh, COVID, man.
He's sweating. Babe, I don't feel good, but he ain't got no man. I'm like, oh, my God. You would have thought he had a gun in my face. I was like, oh, my God, you're going to get sick. So, Christmas is like Friday. That's Saturday morning. I wake up, I'm eating my food. It don't taste right. So I called the team doctor. Can me and the kids come down there and get tested? Come on. So the next day he called me and he said, the line that killed me was when he said, okay, so Toya, the good news is the boys tested negative. I said, wait a minute. You were supposed to say the good news is everybody. But unfortunately, you tested positive. When I tell you, in my most dramatic, I ran through that house and I'm grabbing stuff because I'm going to go in the basement because I don't want to get my kids. And I'm crying. And I'm looking at him. If I die, I'm going to come back and kill you. Oh, my God. Baby, I got in that basement. Day 1, I cried. I didn't know what was going on. I didn't really have symptoms. When I got to day 3 and I realized wasn't nobody bothering me, I didn't have to get nobody ready for school. I spent my 10 days down there. And it was a glass door for our basement. And my son, I was like, oh, don't open the door, baby. Mom, can I read your book? Stay up there. Read it to me.
COVID been dead.
COVID
been over.
COVID, I got kicked out the house and everything.
Oh, my God. Oh, my goodness.
I mean,
Key gone and everything.
Before you go,
Yeah.
I always kind of wonder, like about the college coaches.
Uh-huh.
When you a coach, like they treat you like, how is their relationship like with the school and shit? Like when you straight coaching like the team.
College?
Yeah.
So I feel like in college it's kind of about the coaches. Because we coached with Lane Kiffin, Steve Sarkisian.
That's when, but Lane Kiffin got kind of messed up though.
Yeah, I like
Yeah.
Lane. Me and Lane cool.
Okay,
like like I said, it's what
Yeah.
you think and what you know.
Okay.
Right? There's a persona, you know.
He got another job, so he was out.
Yeah, right. They love you when they love you. When it's time to go, it's very business. Goodbye. We appreciate it. Adios. So you have to learn. They always tell you all the time, don't fall in love with schools, and it's hard. So for me, when you're young, as a coach's wife or in the business, it's like, oh my God, we're doing this. And I fell in love with USC. And unfortunately, like we won the Rose Bowl the year before T got fired. Like,
Why are you getting fired?
because we had a freshman quarterback. And I'm going to just go on here.
Who's your quarterback then?
Oh, my God. What's that little boy's name? Lord Jesus.
That's probably why you got
JT
fired.
Daniels.
I don't remember JT.
He went to Georgia, West Virginia.
He threw that motherfucker.
So,
to the wrong people.
I will say,
I ain't throwing
you know, the head coach that fired T, he got a few more. You got to blame somebody.
Yeah, of course. You
So you don't, and they don't, and you can't say like, hey, you know, that wasn't the play I called. You can't say those things. So T had to just take that. I mean, we got paid, so he was like, fire me.
Somebody said you're very refreshing from last week. We were surviving City Girls. This is life after City Girl.
She said we got paid, so fire me.
I mean, hey, at the end of the day, you can't and it's good. All college coaches, you'll get your 3-year deals, and with coaching, it's guaranteed money. And honestly, that's fair because you get fired. Most people that get fired, it's not their fault. Somebody's got to be the fall guy. Somebody's got to go to prove to the money
GM
people.
gonna tell on somebody. Ain't gonna be
and in this coaching world, you got to keep your mouth closed. You got to just take it on the chin and go on.
Because if you tell them, they're gonna say, "Well, you told on him, you might tell on me."
So you have to be a shoulder a lot for a lot of stuff. Like as far as, yes, he's in the fraternity of being a black quarterback.
Yes.
So he see a lot of bullshit.
Yes.
And like, damn, I love this man to death. And I'm the only person who he can talk to besides the only guys that he can talk to.
Lots of pillow talk.
Right.
Lots of, like you said, lifting him up. Lots of, yeah, yeah. Some days he comes home, he loves it. Some days it's frustrating. And most people that look at us, they see the glitz and the glamour. You live in a nice house. You got nice money. You got a nice ring. You have nice purses. But they don't understand the fear when a game is going on and people be like, oh, I just want it to be a good game. Why? We're sitting there, we're crying. You know why? I don't want to tell my son we got to move. I don't want to have to sell my house. I don't want to have to leave my friends that I've gotten close to because we don't have family. So your friends that you meet in these strange cities become your family. But when my husband walks through the door and as a man, you've got fired, I can't even be sad about that. I got to lift my husband up. I got to tell him the positive. We got to be glass half full.
Well, you should have been here for our meeting earlier. We was trying to tell Dirty to lift us up.
Before Toya go, I need to understand if she lost our lingo. Say there.
No, I still say there.
No, that ain't.
Because I'm trying not to, but when I start talking.
You ain't got it.
Trust me, baby.
When you get mad or something, you be like,
no, it's bad. But my husband do the same thing. He from Mobile. They talk crazy. I love it though. But like when he get mad, he be like, who you talking to? Go. Like his mama be like, them children over there, them children tripping. And I just be sitting there like, oh, go.
When you get past Big Ben, the accent don't be the same.
Right, yeah.
Same as Western Grove,
when I get excited or I'm mad, it's bad.
It's
bad. Yeah, no, it's bad. But right
Shit,
now,
had a video over there. Shit, get them shoulders rubbed.
But no, I mean this is refreshing. I love this. I love that you guys do this. You know what I mean? Just this is important. This
Tell
is
your
what
friends
makes
about
music.
us.
Huh?
Tell your friends about us.
She ain't got no friends.
She got
Holla.
They in Baltimore.
Baby, I got friends in high places. Don't try that.
Say
She
this.
come in town next week.
Baby, I keep it cute.
We started to call him. We should have had him call in.
Yeah.
But I appreciate it. Like I said, I love St. Louis.
Tennessee
Everybody
too.
know I'm from St. Louis. They know I'm proud of St. Louis. I'm gonna rep my Cardinals.
Do they call you crazy if you're from St. Louis?
They always ask me, do you talk like Nelly? I'm like, oh my God. Like, Nelly talk like people from St. Louis. Okay, let's be very clear. But no, it is what it is. And it was my journey. It was beautiful. All the hurt, led to all the positive. And I'm going to take it all and I'm going to just keep it pushing. And all I could do, Stephanie Denise Robinson, that's my cousin.
Yeah, I know.
Yes.
She got peeps.
She been name dropping.
That's right, Bill.
Hey, I'm like, what the fuck she got peeps mean?
Nah, I got peeps.
I'm like, who still say peeps? Okay, well,
I do want to take this time to thank you for coming on What Up Though Radio.
Yes.
We really appreciate
Thank you for having me. This was awesome.
Thanks for reaching back.
Absolutely, anytime.
Thanks for being a good guest.
And you're a great guest.
Thank you. Like I said, when I am asked to come back, I come back. If y'all don't see me, ain't nobody hollering.
After y'all win
and
the
I
Super
don't know
Bowl,
what's going on.
after you win the Super Bowl, come back then.
Ooh! Don't talk to me when the schedule drop.
That's tonight.
Marvel.
Some drops tonight though.
Thursday. Ours is Thursday.
Hey, that was another episode of What Up Though Radio. We keep pounding. We keep pounding and keep pounding. I don't got it. I was looking for Pound Town. I couldn't find it. But, tune on in some more. What Up Though Radio? We ain't going no fucking where. Thanks, Toya, for coming through.
Thank you.
Wish the love for you, UNT, Mr. Martin. And we'll be back next week as usual. See everybody. What you finna say?
Go 49ers.
Ooh, you a lie.
I had to get that out of my system.
You a lie.
It wouldn't be right now.
Y'all got Sam Darnold. I'm gonna call Sam Darnold and tell him. Yeah,
Sam Darnold ain't never touched
got
it.
some great
Now, see, you going too far.
We won the Rose Bowl with Sam Darnold. That's one of the
Yeah, that was the Rose Bowl. We talking about the Super Bowl.
And y'all got him now. So will you?